The Chiefs have less than a week to get under the salary cap, and time is ticking. Who goes and who stays on the lengthy list of soon-to-be free agents is also still undecided. What moves should the front office make? Well, let's take a peek at the 2025 draft class and who experts say Kansas City should snag in round one. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Thursday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. It's no secret that the Chiefs are in a bit of a bind this offseason. Little money, big contracts, and a lot of free agents, and really not so many draft picks. So, as we wait for the new league year to fall, let's roll through what Kansas City has, what they need, and if filling those voids is even possible. First, give us a like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel, and let's get going. All right, folks, we start by looking at the positive. What do the Chiefs have? Well, right now they actually have 51 players under contract. 34 of those players are returning players, meaning they remain under contract for the next season. It also means that they ended the season on the active roster or the reserves list. So think about players like Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Harrison Butker, Creed Humphrey, Xavier Worthy, Drew Tranquill, the list goes on. Now, 2 players are under new contracts, those of which we have been killing talking about the last couple of days, right guard Trey Smith and linebacker Blake Lynch. There are also 15 players who have been signed to future contracts / reserve. Now, these players are going to count towards that 90-man roster, which becomes official at the start of the new league year. A lot of those players you will recognize because they were on the practice squad last year with the Chiefs. Here's where things get dicey. We get into the free agents and some of the negatives. A total of 27 players are going to become free agents. 3 are ERFAs, 5 are RFAs, and 19 are URFAs. Now, the unrestricted free agents are the players who can freely negotiate and sign with other teams once the new league year begins next Wednesday. What sucks about this list is that it is very lengthy, and honestly, it's just impossible to keep them all. The list includes players like Carson Wentz, Kareem Hunt, Hollywood Brown, McCole Hardman, DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, Justin Reed, Nick Bolton, Charles Omenihu, and that's just naming a few. So navigating who to keep and who to move on from is going to be no easy task. Currently, after trading away left guard Joe Thuney, the Chiefs are now over the cap, roughly around $2.9 million, according to Over the Cap. Again, these are estimates based off of public contracts and salary information. A few other sites have slightly different projections, but what I could relatively gather and put together, it's around that 2 million mark over. So this projection includes the 51 players under contract and the NFL's new salary cap for 2025, which is that whopping $279.2 million. Now, you can fully expect the figure to continue changing as we go on. Roster moves and other things are going to happen likely before March 12th. So with very little wiggle room, as of now, the Chiefs are left with very little to shop the free agency market. So let's take a look at the draft first and the draft capital that Kansas City has. Right now, they have 6 picks in the 2025 NFL draft, here coming up in about 7 weeks. So in round 1, they have pick 31. In round 2, pick 63. Round 3, pick 66. That's via the trade with Tennessee for L'Jarius Sneed. Round 3, pick 95. Round 4, pick 127. And round 7, they got pick 256. Now, you can also expect some added compensatory picks for free agency losses. Now, these are picks awarded to the team for net spending losses in free agency. The greater the net loss, the higher the pick is going to be. Now, these picks are starting at the end of the 3rd round of the scheduled picks, beginning with number 97 overall. So that's, again, another wait-and-see situation. So let's start by looking at the draft. What can Kansas City get? Well, the biggest need on the roster, without a doubt, no one's going to argue this, is the left tackle position. The Chiefs have drafted a left tackle for the past 2 consecutive years, yet here they are again with the same need starting off this next season. Now, most major outlets just went ahead and said the Chiefs need to stick with the offensive line in round number 1. So we're going to roll through some of these. Here are the offensive linemen that experts say could fit into Kansas City. Yahoo Sports and ESPN both agree on Minnesota offensive tackle Ariante Ursary, who also just happens to be a Ruskin High School grad. Now, Nate Tice and Charles McDonald at Yahoo Sports say that the Chiefs need offensive line help, and they could get it here with a massive 6'6", 331-pound, and versatile guy who could be a steal at this point in the 1st round. Now, ESPN writes that Ursary is a massive blocker, again, mentioning his size. He shows ample power and movement skills on tape. He allowed just 4 sacks over 39 college starts. Now, Bleacher Report, ESPN, and USA Today all say that Ohio State's offensive tackle Josh Simmons should get snagged by Kansas City in round 1. Now, BR writes that Simmons was widely considered one of the top tackles in the nation before suffering a season-ending knee injury about midway through the campaign. Now, prior to going down, he looked like the class's best pure tackle on film. ESPN's Jordan Reed says that one of the few true left tackles in this class, he confirmed at the Combine that he suffered a torn patellar tendon against Oregon on October 12th. If not for that injury, Simmons would have been potentially a top 10 pick. Now, he didn't allow a sack or pressure prior to going down. Instead, he would be a late day one steal here for a team that has to improve its pass protection. Now, Tyler Dragon from USA Today added that Simmons provides Kansas City with what could be a long-term answer at left tackle. The Athletic and PFF say that Oregon's offensive tackle, Josh Connerly Jr., fits best for Kansas City. Now, Dane Brugler says that Connerly, who had the best 10-yard split of any lineman at the Combine, has a high-level quickness and recovery balance, while Trevor Sikkema, you know him, PFF, writes, "I firmly believe the Chiefs will draft the top offensive tackle off the board, whether that be here at number 31 or a few picks ahead via a small trade." Now, the 33rd team goes on to say a guy from Texas, offensive tackle Kelvin Banks Jr., is going to be the guy. Kyle Crabb says that Banks Jr. has long been considered a consensus top talent at his respective position, and I left the NFL Combine more curious to where the league stands on Banks versus the outside consensus. He's still a very promising talent with plenty to offer in the run game. Banks would be too good to pass up. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments below the biggest positions that you think the Chiefs should be targeting in the 2025 draft. All right, one name that has consistently come up in free agency on the radar for the Chiefs is Ravens left tackle Ronnie Stanley, now even more than it was a few days ago. Charles Goldman with A to Z Sports writes, the 9-year NFL vet was one of the best left tackles in the league from 2016 to 2021. Unfortunately, he suffered a devastating knee injury in 2021 that affected him until the 2023 season. However, he returned full strength in 2024 and rounded back into form, getting selected to the Pro Bowl. Now, the Chiefs could have made a run at Stanley even if they kept Tooney, but now with Tooney off the books, they will have approximately another $16 million to work with. So that gives Kansas City even more ammo to go after Stanley, but other free agents as well. It is crucial that the Chiefs go get a veteran route at the left tackle position. The last few draft picks they've spent at that position with Sua Mataia, Wanya Morris, Darian Kennard haven't worked out. So with the rest of the offensive line being very young, it needs to be a veteran presence. Now, although Stanley is the best option, Kansas City could also go after free agents such as Dan Moore or Tyron Smith. This is, of course, according to Charles Goldman. Now, another name that we got to address, and I know you're going to probably make fun of me in the comments, wide receiver DK Metcalf. Although it might not even be plausible, just let me dive into it. Yesterday, the news broke 6 seasons with the Seattle Seahawks, and Metcalf is out requesting a trade. Now, right now, outside of Xavier Worthy, you got to think the Chiefs wide receiver room is very much so unknown. So without knowing what free agents are going to stay or go, maybe Metcalf could have a place in Kansas City. Mark Powell with Fansided writes that the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs are in need of wide receiver help. Beyond Xavier Worthy, like I mentioned, the Chiefs receiving core is either unreliable or entering free agency. DeAndre Hopkins and Marquise Brown are chief among Kansas City's list of available free agents. When the new league year starts, though, next week, the Chiefs will have to act quickly to either retain that talent or replace them with capable hands. Trading for Metcalf would boost Kansas City's receiving core and provide Patrick Mahomes with the go-to receiver who's been lacking since Tyreek Hill. Now, with Travis Kelce entering his final years in an NFL uniform, supplying Mahomes with the next great weapon must be on Brett Veach's to-do list. Is it possible? Who knows? Now, Powell suggests the compensation of a second rounder and a pair of day 3 picks to go out and get Metcalf into Kansas City would work. Bleacher Report, though, points out that that likely is not going to be enough to get it done, especially with the number of teams that are going to get in on the bidding. But if Veach is willing to throw in a 31st overall pick into the deal, the Chiefs could be on to something. That is pricey. I don't even know if that's even in the conversation, but let me know in the comments below what you think about these 2 free agent options for Kansas City. Alrighty, folks, that does it for another episode of Chiefs News Daily. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, I ask that you like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. As always, have a great rest of your Thursday. We'll see you back here on Friday.